This is a quick presentation on team awareness and comms, communication. What's available, what's not available, and what we can do today. Regular communication runs over an unencrypted or clear text network via public access networks. Many websites run SSL or secure socket layers HTTPS. Do not be fooled by that. Cell towers, network service providers, and social media companies all run on the internet. It's no surprise to anybody. What should be pointed out here is that all of those networks run over the service providers' networks. ISPs and social media companies are two separate entities almost always, with the exception of Google has a huge backbone of internet connectivity that they run a lot of their services on. So does Microsoft. So does Amazon. Actually, Amazon uses the backbone provider of most of the other ones, as do a lot of them. Why that's important? It's simple because all that communication traditionally runs over your clear text networks, which is totally interceptable. The internet is just a bunch of servers connected to devices in your network. No different than your house when you hook up your TV or your iPads or your Android devices throughout your house. That's a network. The internet is just a much, much bigger scale of a network. You'll hear the term mesh or cloud. Those are just fancy terms for the way that we connect things together. All traffic is owned by the provider. They have no bones about telling you that. You're using their connection, you're paying money for that connection, but that connection is not supposed to be secure. It's a clear text network. Yes, there are ways around that. A secure network. What is a secure network and why does one need one? Well, a secure network, it's kind of, again, going back to your house analogy. Your house actually is somewhat secure in the way that when you connect all your devices, they sit behind a firewall. However, as soon as those devices start talking to the internet, they're going through your firewall, out to Facebook and out to Google and everywhere else, and they are no longer secure because the connection can go backwards. Even depending on how you set up a VPN, that also might be problematic. It depends on the type and the configuration. So a secure network at a business is the same way. A secure network at a business will have servers inside of that network that you communicate on. Those servers are not accessible to the internet. They're only accessible to the people inside the network. So anything that you do inside of the network there is actually fairly secure. The solution: create a private network. Create an encrypted tunnel or an encrypted tunnel to a back-channel network. Create a comms hub for intel and info. Set up internal websites on that private back channel. Looks something like this. Essentially, this is a Facebook clone. It is the same thing as Facebook. It has a lot of functionality, groups, messaging, all that kind of stuff, and allows training and videos and all kinds of very useful stuff. And again, this would run on a private network, not accessible to the internet. Now, what we do is we create an encrypted tunnel to a back channel network, which actually runs on the internet. But what we do is we actually create a tunnel and a private network in the same way that a corporation or your house does. You can also run the ATAC Team Awareness Kit. It's a mobile app that goes on your device that actually can run over this private network. Now, when you have a private network, you don't have a public IP address. all your traffic is routed through channel hubs. And those channel hubs are responsible for communicating that traffic back and forth. So if I create a secure network with ATAC or a website here, that information only stays in the back channel network, nowhere else. And any communication between patrons or between members of the network is totally encrypted. And it's private, and nobody from the outside can actually see it or even know it's even there. All comm traffic happens on the private network. I just mentioned this, but what happens realistically is any communication between users on this network is not seen on the internet. The traffic is not seen on the internet because of the actual encrypted tunnel to get into the network. A secure network. Why is a private network secure and redundant? Well, let me explain. Networks are made up of devices. I got 4 devices here. And those 4 devices provide access into the network and communication inside of the network and between the network. They are redundant, so every path in every possible direction is a path that it knows that it can get to this resource, or this resource, or this resource, or this resource. And that allows for highly redundant and highly secure. To participate in the network, you must have a key to the network segment you seek to be part of. That network key is a long encrypted string that goes into the application. You don't actually have to worry about username and password and all that kind of stuff, because the encrypted key takes care of all the communication for you. And you can't get the key unless you're part of the network. You can only add approved and vetted resources on the private network. You can have another private network over here, and then this one can be, and these 2 networks can be totally separate, or they can talk to each other. You must have a verified device and an address, not just an IP address. IP addresses change every time you actually log in or move to a different network on the public side. So your device has to be verified, it has to be approved, and it has to be vetted before you can get the access code. Verified devices communicate directly with each other on the private net. Devices can be protected with biometrics, PIN, passwords, etc. For added security, we can do multi-layer, which we can use 2-factor authentication with a lot of the apps that are out there on the market today. You probably use these apps either for work or for 2-factor authentication to protect some of your email or your passwords. If you don't know who is on the other side of your communication, your security is pointless no matter how good it is. However, this network, you've got to have the proper key, you have to be a vetted resource, and you have to have a verified device to get into the network. Once you're into the network, it's a one-time setup, and the network can run, or the client that allows you into the secure network can run all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you'll never even notice it. But it allows you access to the private resources 24/7. And, of course, your resources on the outside. The system can also run off-grid via a provided mesh networks that we can set up. For example, we can set it up on towers, houses, drones, etc. And drones is cool because I can take a off-grid device or a radio device and I can put it up in the air 200, 300, 400 feet, and I can have an incredible coverage area of an off-grid network where only participants using ATAC can actually talk to each other totally private, totally secure, and there is no internet. So, that is a brief review of the team awareness and comms. Thank you.